Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you an easy process to making a mini battle royale map in Fortnite Creative. It's extremely easy once you understand what to do, and I'll cover a bunch of stuff, from the basics, to simple tips to improve your maps. If you enjoy the video, consider subscribing, and help us reach 1k, we're so close. And if you want to support me even more, my creator code is Mazaj. Anyway, let's get right into this. So the first thing you have to choose is which island you want to build on. Check them all out and see what you like, but I'm going to use the Kevin floating island so that I can have only water on the map, because I'm going to be making my map completely custom. I recommend changing the time of day to around midday, just so you can see when you're building. And now remove all of the floating islands. Another tip, if you don't move your marker on the mini-map, it'll be over the center of the map, so mark it if you want a reference for where the middle is. Now I'm just surrounded by water. This means I can build custom terrain with water instead of having a template island. Check out my tutorial playlist, it has all of my biome and terrain tutorials in it. On your phone, select both nature and terrain in galleries. This will make it so much easier when creating your terrain and nature. I really recommend designing a map before you start building, because it really makes it easier. Draw a map shape, add your biomes, and then create it in game. The terrain I make in this video will be an easier version of my terrain, so just pay attention to what I'm doing. Feel free to build your terrain however you want, but I'll be showing an extremely easy terrain style for people new to custom terrain. I use the shark cliff corner pieces for the outside of my terrain, and fill it in with the floor piece. If you size up the corner piece fully and place it on grid snap 2, once you've found the build layer, every 2 places up or down will be on the building layer, just like on screen. So we have our base terrain finished. I will show you how to add some basic extra layers to your terrain. You can build and it's fully functional. Now onto the extra terrain. Take your corner piece, and do the same as what we do earlier. Find the build level, create our outline with the corner piece, and fill it all in. We're creating layers of terrain which will make your map a lot more interesting instead of keeping it flat. I now have 2 more layers of terrain in this corner. Fill it all in. Here's another tip. Take a corner piece. Create this shape. And place it into your terrain like I do. It really adds more depth to the terrain, and allows people to get up and down it a lot easier. Just don't overdo it. Another thing you can do is take this piece, rotate it away from you, and place it into the original piece. This will make your mountains and cliffs look more like the ones in game and just adds that nice extra detail around the map. I quickly added some beaches around my island, and a lower terrain level for my river so people can get up onto the land. You don't want people to be stuck or soft locked in your map. Onto the nature, I like to select the items I need to my hotbar, which allows for much quicker access to pieces. Nature also comes down to personal preference. But here's what I like to do. When I place my nature, I like to constantly mix up what pieces or trees I'm using, and how many there are, the size. I experiment with the trees and the placement of them to make each area of nature feel different and unique. If you're using a different biome, this can still apply to that. Whether it's an aftermath biome, or a snow biome. Don't place nature where you're going to have your POIs. Place a map indicator device over the areas where you want your points of interest, and size them up so that they're easy to find. If you don't have any names for the POI yet, simply name it POI or whatever you want. I'm going to have 2 POIs just like on the design I made, so I'm going to place one over here as well. My 2 POIs are Crazy Cabins and Violent Village. I'm going to show you me creating the cabin POI. I finished my nature, and I have to say I love the result, especially for how easy this style is to make, and I left the spaces for my 2 POIs. Let's move on to that now. Because I'm making a cabin POI, I'm going to select the Weeping Woods tab on my phone. Now one quick note, terrain pieces break when you destroy floor pieces. A fix to this is to place your floor pieces on grid snap 2 by putting build to prop on your phone settings. The rest of the building pieces don't need to be build to prop, only the floors. I'm not going to make any interior. There are plenty of interior tutorials out there, or simply attempt it yourself. The best way I find inspiration is by going onto the Fortnite map. Epic's map design is at the top, and it's free to jump into a solo game and just look around. Here's my cabins finished. Your POIs are not going to be this small. Yours will have way more design and detail put into it. Something I want to bring up though is to make sure you do add detail to your POI. This will give your build personality, and sometimes maybe even a theme. I'm just adding some basic deco around my path. But without this path and deco, my POI would be really boring. So make sure to experiment your deco skills and bring your points of interest to life. Now let's quickly cover POI loot. Place the chest and ammo gallery, and keep only this chest and ammo box. Now because the POI I made is really small, we want a low amount of loot, such as 1 chest per building, 1 chest outside of the cabins and a couple ammo boxes. I like to think of buildings as 2 parts, the main building, and the roof section. Basically I'll either have a chest in the main section, or the roof section. This way we don't have too much loot in our buildings. And then place an ammo box in the section which we didn't place a chest. This also means there's loot in all areas of the building. We don't want people to find no loot, and we don't want people to find too much loot. Get creative with your placements as well. Place chests on objects, or hide them behind something like a couple boxes. Just have some fun but don't make them impossible to find. Loot should be easy to find. And that's how to do POI loot. Keep the loot spread apart and all around the POI. Don't have too much loot or too little loot, and make sure it's the right amount for the size of your POI. Keep the number of players in mind too. Onto nature loot. A cool way to have loot outside of POIs is to have small 1x1 cabins or huts around the map in the emptier areas. Fortnite does this all the time, and these huts usually contain loot. Place a couple of these throughout your map, and change up the stuff inside. Add some boxes or crates inside of the huts, and change up the loot you can find. I love the detail and personality that these small areas add to the map. And finally, you want nature loot. This loot should be spread apart way more than POI loot and should be harder to come across. Place these in empty areas like before, but not sitting in the open. And once that's out of the way, the map design is done. I'm not going to show you the map settings or the storm, but Directing Pete has amazing tutorials on both the storm and BR map settings, so please go and check them out. And here is my finished map. I really like how it turns out, especially for how easy it is to make for almost all players. Once you learn the basics of creative, you'll be able to make simple and easy maps that look like this. I hope this video has helped you with making your BR map, and post you mini BR maps in my Discord, link in the description. That wraps up this video. I appreciate everyone who shows me support. It really does keep the channel going, and as I said before, we're almost at 1K. Let's try and hit this goal before the end of August. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.